I swear to God, Phoenix throws it to Cam Johnson in the corner, and I'm like, money.
The Mismatch, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Chris, you bringing up Cam Johnson and like his consistency as a shooter and how much you can rely on him to hit shots for you. When he was drafted 11th, I criticized the pick. I felt like it was a reach, that there's higher upside players, but seeing the important role a guy like him can play in 18 minutes, seeing what Mikal Bridges could turn into. Mikal Bridges, he's called a 3-and-D player because he hits threes and defends at a high level. But he showed tonight he can do more than that. Guys who, might have a baseline as a 3-and-D guy or a sharpshooter can become more or play critical roles on teams. And it just makes me think, the draft coming up later this month on the 29th, how difficult it is to balance out, seeking out higher upside players versus higher certainty players. And the Suns, targeting Cam Johnson, like looking back now, it makes all the sense in the world because it feels so much better when you have Cam Johnson out in the corner or out in the wing to whip the ball out to, rather than some of these shaky shooters, who are inconsistent for you and that don't add a lot on a lot of nights. Cam Johnson brings something every night because of the threat of his shot. So, it's just a thought on my mind. I'm curious about what you think about that when adding players through draft or even free agency and trade.
Yeah, I think it's super fascinating, Kev, because I've talked for years on this very podcast about the NBA being ageist when it comes to the NBA draft. And there's so many of these outstanding college players, and we've gone through them 100 times. Oh, Jay Crowder, by the way, who's on the same Phoenix team, once upon a time was a Big East player of the year that was taken in the second round. We know about Draymond Green. We know about Malcolm Brogdon. We know about, there's a bunch of these guys. And it's not, nothing in the draft by any means is 100%. In fact, nothing's even 70%. But I will say, I root for a team that has been praised immensely for the ability to draft. And one of the things that they were able to hit on the last 2 years, and in fact, I even saw John Morant retweet somebody that said this last night, that the knocks on Brandon Clark and Desmond Bane were their age. That was the knocks. Literally, the knocks. And people praised them for nailing it 2 years in a row with these guys. And when people said, here's the positives, this. Here's the negative. They're old. Okay, well, that's 2 in a row that they were able to hit. And I think here's another great example tonight, right? Where it's like, okay, maybe you could have gotten Cam Johnson later, but you got a real player with that pick. And again, the knock about Cam Johnson was his age.
Yep.
Everybody knew he could shoot the cover off the ball. I mean, the guy's got a sweet stroke. Really good shooter. But he was old. And he was older than his peers, right? He had that old Pittsburgh thing.
23-year-old rookie.
Yeah.
25 now and it's only his second year.
And so maybe there is a little bit of a lesson in just when we look at the draft and like, hey, it doesn't matter. Like, don't immediately, if the guy's got all the stuff that you like, then we've weighted age too much. You know what I'm saying?
And I also think age could be an advantage for a team, though, because Cameron Johnson, he's making $4.2 million this season. He'll make $4.4 million next season. He'll make $5.9 million a season after that. That is way below what he would make if he hit free agency this offseason. Way below, because of his shooting ability, because of how rock solid he is on defense, because of how reliable he is as a passer, just how great of a teammate he is, like all of these things, right? He'd make $10+ million. So from a team perspective, if you get a rookie who can contribute like your Desmond Banes of the world, like a Cameron Johnson, that is a significant difference maker for you when you have a knockdown shooter who can do all these other things on a rookie deal and don't have to worry about going to spend $15 million on a shooter in free agency. It just makes a lot of sense to me, for the Phoenix Suns, like at the time of that pick, I think the mindset was, well, maybe this team isn't that close, but the vision probably was, well, get another veteran And then it all makes sense. And it all makes sense like watching this team right now with all the pieces they have.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, the other one was, we were all a little perplexed. Was that the same one that the Culver deal was involved with? Was that the pick they got with Saric?
Yes, that was the Culver deal. So it was like, yeah.
He's been better than Culver.
Yeah, Saric and 11 for Jared Culver. Exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, he's been better, right? It was like, well, geez, you got the, fourth pick in the draft?
6th for Culver, and then six for 11 and Saric. Yeah. Great deal. Great deal.
I mean, in retro, that's one of those where it's like, man, let it play out a little while, right?